we get into this evening's live, I want to go over a quick overview of what is going on and what is transpiring at the same time. So, with XRP, we failed to get over the $3.19 level, which was a very critical resistance in the area that we're in. Without getting over that area, it ends up forcing it back down here a little bit, but we need to see how this plays out. We had a golden cross in the hourly and the 2 hourly. We were starting to push up and retake these areas. But it's very important here to not lose this and get rejected on the bottom side here. If we do, we're going to find ourselves possibly pulling back down here. And then you could find yourself around that $2.58 mark. But that's if we come back to the bottom of the pattern. I'm also, and I don't want to go there, but in past cycles, not just for XRP, but in cryptocurrency as a whole, in past cycles, we've had hangman patterns, and it seems like you'd be off to an exuberant pace, massive flags or poles built, and then they kind of just reverse down. And it's almost like a hangman. It's a hangman candle, basically, but you can almost see a possibility of that, but that's why we need to break out of this formation. You don't want to be dealing with that scenario. Like, I don't want to deal with that, because if we do, you know, it happens pretty damn quick. Mab, nice to see you in here as well, my friend. Nice to see you in well, my friend. We sold off from 320, so I do not see 250 first. No, I didn't say that's what's going to happen. I'm saying if it drop. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not seeing that. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that's the possibility if we were to rotate down here. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to solidify a move here at the 200-day and try to prove that we can reverse this pattern. But, you know, we're having a little bit of difficult time, but you would expect it to when you hit resistance here. It's just, I don't want to see a situation where we end up with like a hangman situation. And like, I don't know. You know, you don't really want to see it. We got a lot to talk about, so we're not going to talk like the extremely bad. But you can start to certainly start topping out, and you do something like that. And then, you know, it's interesting because we know we had a shooting star on Bitcoin, not this past close, but so it's interesting when you start to look at it from those dynamics. So I want to see the upward momentum here because I could see this moving in the up direction as well. So it's just, I try to look at everything so you can see what I'm, at least what I consider when I'm looking at this. So we need this to pull up. Otherwise, you could certainly see some semblance of that. Now, I like the V-shaped recovery. I like the fact that we are still within a bullish consolidation. I like the fact that it's reversed back up so quickly and at least proved the range. And now it's basically up to get some buying pressure here, which, you know, we've shown a lot of upwardness. We didn't get a great deal of volume on the way back up. So we've got to have a continuation here. Otherwise, it would be a quick and swift drop right back down. But we do have a nice V there. It's just a matter of can we hold this now? And we need to get over that $3.19. Like, I can't even explain how critical that is to get over that range. So we'll see how it goes. And then we do need to talk about a few different things. We'll talk about the XRP and XLM Elliot wave analysis, as I think this is interesting what they put. And it's a good way to look at it outside of what I talk about, even though we do talk the Elliot wave at times. I think this is a good way for us to continue. My honest opinion, why the crypto, like the utilities are bleeding, it's the meme tokens. The meme tokens are going out of control right now. I think it's by design because they want to put regulations into crypto, which basically defeats the purpose of crypto. But yeah, that's a big part of it. Nobody really talks about it, but that's a big part of it. When you flow a lot of money out of utility and out of crypto that has purpose, and you put it into memes, and then, well, yeah, there's the Binance is under investigation in France that could play into it. But that's Binance as an exchange, so I mean, but we had what I like to see. Where'd it go? I wanted to at least acknowledge the whales. And then we'll also talk about how XRP, or the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, seems to have disappeared off their website. At least that's what's going around. But the XRP whale sees 120 million tokens as ex-Ripple insider hints at major breakthrough. We'll talk about the Elliot wave, and then we've got the Ripple lawsuit disappears from SEC website. Is it finally over? So we'll see what that's all about, guys. It's FOMC meeting. Yeah, it is. It is this week. Now, to be interesting is the U.S. Federal Reserve. Are we gonna stand pat? I don't see them raising rates like Japan, but do you see them, because Trump's going to call for, if they lower it 25 base points, he's going to say we need to do 50 or 75. Bitcoin Maxi's talking pure trash on XRP past few days too, because Trump talked about using XRP for the reserve. Oh, I know they're talking straight trash, but that's been part of the argument of why XRP needs to have every token available and there can't be a significant burn, because something big can actually transpire here with the positioning XRP's in with Ripple. But as of right now, a lot of questions. Why is the market red? Money's flowing in the opposite direction of where it should. There's too much money flowing into memes right now, because a lot of the steam that was held, and I'm not saying it because, but they got put into the Trump token and the fart coin and all these other stupid tokens. And what ends up happening is that money gets siphoned back out by the ones who are rich and who actually own the large majority. And the retail just gets hammered. And that's a part of what's going on. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple weeks ago now, but when that first happening. So, but I mean, there are a few, somebody just mentioned it too. There's a few bad signs here too. The fact that Bitcoin's price is going down, but the dominance is still on the rise. Like, it's just showing there is no concerted. I'm telling you, when all that money went into the memes, that's not what you want to see. You want to see money flowing into utility, not flowing out of it. And for the first time this whole cycle, money was flowing out of utility to chase memes. That is not what you're looking for. That's actually a red flag that the market is not where you want it to be. It can be by design, obviously, but that's a red flag that we've talked about. Ethereum not being able to break out was a very clear red flag, because Ethereum usually leads the alt market into the alt season. But we've had speculation here that this right arm could bring us all the way down to 2774, or maybe even a little bit farther if you look at it. But 2774 area was a projected target if it would have broke there, but it ended up breaking here. So, like, it's not out of the question or outside the box that it could come down there, but we'll see. Because we've also had a theory too with the market, and this is one nobody wants to hear, that we could be in an all-time rising wedge right now. And I mean, I guess you could call that an ascending triangle, but I kind of see a wedge forming there with Ethereum. And the fact it got rejected at what I perceive as the wedge resistance, if that's a rising wedge, this could be very simply a case where, certain things could go to die, but I also see a big inverse head and shoulders there. So we'll see exactly how the market plays this out, but there's no doubt about it. It's a very tricky time, and I would not want to be buying these levels when it comes to XRP and many others for the first time. Like, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. So with that being said, good evening. 6:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Do you think the South Korea economy will affect XRP in the coming weeks and months? Very possibly. XRP is very big in Southeast Asia, so it's possible. But I just... when I came on yesterday, we talked about, there's something that is really scaring me about this cycle right now. And there's actually two things. One, the fact that you could technically say that we can start seeing rising wedges starting to form in a lot of places here. But the other thing that's very alarming to me, and usually when a bubble's about to pop, when people that wouldn't typically push something start to push it. And that's something that's starting to become overwhelmingly apparent to me. Like, I don't know if this is an overall ploy, but something's not right here. Like Robert Kiyosaki on Mike Maloney's station, I showed yesterday with Robert Kiyosaki, he's telling you to sell all your gold and silver to buy Bitcoin. Like, it's weird. And like, what I'm afraid of here is that we've topped. And it doesn't seem like it, but there's a very real chance that this could all be a psyops and we could have actually topped here. This isn't playing like a normal alt season. Yes, XRPs have a substantial one, but look where most of our other ones are. Look where most of the other ones are. Yeah, something doesn't seem right. Yeah, and they're telling you to sell all your gold and silver for Bitcoin. Like, it doesn't seem right. So, it almost feels like they're trying to siphon us all in at a moment in time when we know the U.S. government's about to unload a lot. So is Mt. Gox. So wouldn't they need maximum amount of potential and capital to be able to flow out? Like, I'm almost in a standstill now. Like, what do I actually do here? Like, now, I'm not saying I'm selling. I'm saying I'm at a standstill in the fact that I can see obvious signs that something's not right. And I've been buying more silver. And my commodities, like, I almost feel like I'm going to downshift a little bit in my crypto holdings. I can't explain it. I almost feel like I did in 2021 again. And this isn't me saying I'm selling my crypto. I'm just telling you, my overall feeling right now, something is not right in this market. And it very well could be this is just all by design and it's to make you want to sell and then all of a sudden it bursts out. But there's obvious signs here that something's weird. The other thing that doesn't make any sense to me is the volume follow through. Like, what is actually going on here? Like, when we had significant bull markets before, look at this volume. Like, look at this volume on this exchange. Look at this puny volume when we had it just now. Like, that doesn't even register. Something is not right. It almost feels like we topped. I have the same feelings I had in 2021 when I had a gut check moment. I think we're having a gut check moment. So, for this not to be the top, Bitcoin would have to go to that 122K. And that was the theoretical technical target out of Bitcoin. And XRP's theoretical target was $5.49 out of the wedge. But something... No, that's what I'm saying. And normally you get all of the... Let me put it this way. Normally when you're talking about like a agenda, you will get the controlled... So I call them the controlled opposition. So for us, is it fair to say in 2025, Robert Kiyosaki's controlled opposition? I think it's fair. I absolutely think it's fair because he's talking all the stuff. He went against his own principles. He forgot who the poor people are. He forgot how you have to look from, how you have to go from one set to the next. So, but I'm seeing this a lot now. But it doesn't seem, I feel like maybe we're dealing with the hangman situation here. Now, that is an inverted hammer right there in the daily. It looks like. So I'm not saying it's over. And then you also had a hammer candle the day before. So in no way am I saying it's over. I'm just saying I'm looking for obvious signs if this in fact does turn into a hangman situation. And we can go back to prior cycles when we topped out. Look at this right here. Didn't it look like we had a big flag that was being built? But it came down, obviously, a far way, and then it just dropped out. If we go to where we're at now, I mean, I'm not trying to say that something's starting to look a little similar here, but what I am saying is it broke down, but to me, the overall pattern looks bullish in the part it's in. That's the thing. Like, the part where it's at makes me feel like this is all psyops, and this is actually extremely bullish. So that's the question I'm presenting with everybody. Like, are we going to continue on here? We did fill the gap at $2.62, but isn't there one that we have that's glaring that we've never filled? The monthly gap now is at $1.82 from last month or 2 months ago. So, but I still think that this is bullish. Unless this proves me that it's going to break down, it looks bullish still. The way it's set up on that V shape. So until this goes out of, I'm not selling shit. To put it in perspective, I'm not selling shit yet. Excuse my French. So it's going to have to force me out of here, like I've said before, and I'll say it again. It's going to have to force me out. It almost seems like they're trying to force us out. Because it looks like right now, what's happening is they're getting rid of all the people that can't really afford to hold through a loss. And what keeps happening here is the whales are seizing up a large amount of tokens. Like, just have a little scoop here of 120 million. That's a lot of tokens to scoop up. Especially with what I'm seeing with... Here, let's read through this real quick. So XRP and XLM wave and Elliot wave analysis. Interaction with key resistance. So the prices of Stellar and Ripple have recently fell to being oversold. Good news. Making an interaction with significant support points. Since then, some early bullish signs were seen with XLM gaining 13% while XRP rose by 20%. Despite the seen bullishness, they are still within their bearish structure. The prices are putting pressure on resistance points whose breakout will provide the first significant confirmation of the coming bull phase. But will they make a breakout or get rejected? So when it comes to Stellar XLM and the price analysis, Stellar XLM completed a bullish breakout from a descending wedge, leading to a sharp rally from 32 cents to 45 cents. This move confirms the end of a corrective phase and the start of a new Elliott wave sequence. The price now faces critical resistance between 45 and 50 cents, marked by the 0.5% Fibonacci retracement level, so the 50% Fib extension level, which needs to be breached for further upside. The Elliott wave count indicates XLM is in wave 3 of a potential 5-wave impulse. A breakout above 50 cents could see prices rally towards 70 cents, the 1.618 Fib, which is exactly almost onto a T, the initial first big breakout level. The extension and higher at 78 cents, 2.0 Fib extension. However, rejection could result in a pullback, with support levels at 42 down to 37 cents, providing potential re-entry. The Relative Strength Index, RSI, shows a recovery from oversold conditions since January 27, suggesting that a larger recovery could be on the way. A failure to hold above 42 cents could invalidate the bullish scenario, leading to a deeper retracement towards 37 cents. For bullish momentum to sustain, XLM must maintain higher lows above this critical support zone. Well, XLM right now is sitting right now at 39.4 cents, still above, but we're trying to maintain this breakout for XLM. So, and it looks like a massive inverse head and shoulders is forming, but sometimes those just form one big, large topping reversal style pattern. So that's what we're trying to get out of the woods. You know, we're trying to get out of this neck of the woods and get back to the bullish side of town, which it's not that we're not in the bullish side of town, but the part of town that we're hanging out on right now is very dangerous. But it seems to me still we're back testing the breakout points. So anyhow, let's continue to read. For the bullish momentum to sustain, XLM must maintain yada yada yada. If buyers regain momentum and volume confirms a breakout above 48 cents, XLM could extend its impulsive structure. The next major resistance is 70 cents, aligning with the historical price zones and Fibonacci projections. Sustained bullish sentiment is crucial to achieving these targets. Now, the key levels to watch: resistance 45 to 48 cents is the 0.382 to 0.5 fib, 70 cents is the 1.618 fib, and 78 cents is the 2.0 fib extension. Support is 42 at the 0.236 fib, 37 cents is structural support. Invalidation is below 37 cents. Well, we're at least right now we're above 39 still. And now for XRP, the Ripple XRP price analysis. So Ripple XRP is consolidating within a symmetrical triangle pattern, reflecting indecision between buyers and sellers after rallying to $3.36. During wave 3, XRP entered a corrective wave, wave 4 phase, now consolidating near $3.18. The $3.36 to $3.55 zone represents key resistance aligned with the 0.618 Fibonacci extension level and must be cleared for upside continuation. A breakout above $3.55 could initiate wave 5, with targets at $4.08, the 1.272 fib, and the $4.47 1.618 fib. That's why I have a hard time believing this is over. We haven't finished 5 waves yet. So if you believe in the fib, it's just... I mean, if you believe in the Elliot wave, we haven't finished the 5th wave yet. I mean, you can believe in the Fibonacci too, but that's not what I'm referring to. The Elliot wave, we're not done with the 5th wave yet. Like, that's what I mean. We haven't started yet. So, something's not right here. That's what I mean. Just because I say something's not right doesn't mean it has to break down. Something don't seem right here. No, the fib doesn't fib. It sure doesn't. The RSI is slightly above neutral, indicating room for further upward momentum. If buying pressure increases, failing to break above this resistance could result in a pullback toward $2.93, the 0.236 fib, or lower to $2.67, which we already feel good about because we tapped that level. And it also put in what looked like a double bottom. So if we wouldn't have come there before, I'd say it's more likely. But the fact we came there, man, it seems like we probably shouldn't lose that $2.93 mark if we had to come down. But who knows? We'll see. The Elliott wave count suggests wave 5 is likely to extend higher, provided XRP maintains support above $2.93. A failure to hold this level could invalidate the bullish setup, triggering a decline toward $2.67. The good news is we filled that fair value gap. So we don't really have a reason to go back down in that 267 range unless we're going for indecisiveness, failure, or just a huge fake out for further liquidation, where structural support aligns with the Fibonacci retracement zone. Volume confirmation will be critical to validate the next leg of the trend. That's what we're missing right now, volume. If XRP successfully breaks out of the triangle, strong bullish sentiment could push prices to $4.08 to $4.89. Depending on how well momentum sustains, investors should monitor resistance and RSI divergence for signs of potential reversals or trend continuation. The key levels to watch for XRP: the resistance $3.36 to $3.55 is the 0.618 fib, and the $4.08 is the 1.272 fib, and the $4.47 is the 1.618 fib extension. Support is $3.23, which we fell below the 0.5. $2.93 is the 0.236 fib, which we're still above. And then $2.67 is structural support. I think that's fair. However, I think it lowers now because of how this pattern is set up to probably $2.58, and you could say the support is still held. However, it would break the structure somewhat, but it would still hold the pattern support. But you really don't want to go down there, so I don't disagree with that analysis. So, yeah, I think that's something. I'm always fascinated to read that kind of stuff. If you are watching, make sure to hit that like button. We have 288 people watching, 87 likes. Not that it's too big of a deal, because I appreciate the 87 people who actually hit the like button. But it will allow us to get this content out to more people. For the simple fact that if you hit the like button, YouTube's going to find it within their algorithm, which is basically AI now. And it's going to push the content because it feels like more revenue can be made with the content. That's all that matters. If they feel like they can get some advertising revenue, they'll advertise my channel. That's all it is. They don't care about me. They don't even care about the content. They just care about if it's going to be profitable for them. So, now the Ripple lawsuit. This is something that I wanted to talk about before I forget as well. I'm trying to get through some of this news. During the day, I try to go through the charts without going through much of the news. But when we get into the lives, I'm going to start to use this as a time to go over the day's news as well. So, and I think that'll be more beneficial for us too. So, Ripple lawsuit disappears from SEC website. Is it finally over? Is it finally over? So the XRP community was recently puzzled by the fact that the Ripple case seemingly disappeared from the SEC website. So has anybody in my audience, have you been paying attention to this? And what do you make of this, to be honest? So real quick, what do you make, while I take a drink of water, what do you make of the fact that the Ripple lawsuit seems to, so the XRP community was recently puzzled by the fact that the Ripple case seemingly disappeared from the SEC website. It's on the appeal section. Yes, it is. Me personally, probably this is BS. I'm not trying to make everybody mad. I go over the news, but I think this is probably a bunch of nonsense. But we'll see. Oh, yeah, there you go. So, no, it's not. They just moved it to the appeals section of the website. See? Hey, look at that. See? I love this audience. This is why we like to do the truth here. This is why I go over things one by one with the audience. So you see conjecture and nonsense. So some started speculating that this can be the end, but as attorney Jeremy Hogan, the case was simply taken off the litigation section of the website. However, it can still be found on the website of the appellate court. Do you wonder why I picked this article? I try to find one that actually gives you semblance of the truth. So it might have been malarkey, but you notice how they gave you the truth? That's why I wanted to wait. So that's what I like to see. It's taken off the litigation section of the SEC website. Only there's no appeal section, but when you look on the actual appellate court website, it's still there and nothing new has been filed, he said. As reported by you today, the SEC filed an opening brief in his appeal against Ripple earlier this month. Ripple was quick to downplay the importance of the appeal, arguing that it was just noise. The company appears to be convinced that the case will get shelved by the new pro-crypto SEC administration. Stuart Alderodi, Ripple's top lawyer, predicted that this was likely to be the case. Last week, the San Francisco-based blockchain company requested a due date of April 16th in order to file its own opening brief. Ripple announced its cross-appeal shortly after the SEC filed its notice of appeal last October. The new SEC administration has promised to create clear rules for the cryptocurrency industry. The agency is currently spearheaded by acting chair Mark Ueda. The controversial lawsuit was initially brought by Republican SEC chair Jay Clayton. After significant setbacks, the SEC eventually moved to appeal both the summary judgment and the final judgment. For now, it remains unclear whether the formidable regulatory agency actually decides to continue appealing the case. So we will see. Yes, there is an FOMC meeting tomorrow, which is great. So we got through those two things. We've got the XRP whales that I would still like to get into. They bought 120 million XRP. But I would also like to get into, let's get into the symbol. And let's look at the XRP liquidation map. That level around $3.50 is getting enormous. With some potential here, folks. With a lot of potential. There's more than just XRP that's got topside potential. Ethereum does as well. So we'll see how this plays out, honestly. We'll see how this plays out. Let's get this back to the right size. There we go. So, I mean, you can even see in the 24-hour chart. Holy shit. Is that right? Wow, there's a lot of money piling up here on both sides. Look at this. $2.99. You got 57 billion. Let's get into the 2-week. Let's get into the 2-week here. Futures upward pennant forming. That's what we like to see. But look at all this. See in the 2-week how most of this below has gotten cleared out? Look at how big this is getting up here now. Once you get to $3.38, there's 416 billion in liquidations for shorts. When you get up just a little bit higher, $3.40, there's 515 billion. And then you got stuff every cent in between and every fraction of a cent. There is trillions of dollars to be liquidated here. Trillions. And you would have to come way down to pick up any substantial.
You're warming up your car?
Yeah, you would have to come down pretty substantially. Yeah. You would have to go down pretty substantially from here.
Why are you walking in this circle?
But there's a lot. Does everybody see all this liquidity? Nathan says, thanks, Tom. Always find your truth here. Cheers. Hey, that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. Well, I don't try. Just I am truthful, but, you know. But that's what we're looking at for XRP. Now, let's look at Ethereum, because we know Ethereum has to do something. How much liquidation is sitting above? I want to know how much is sitting above. Ooh. See, Ethereum makes an argument as well. Look at all that liquidity. It's not as much as XRP because more people are trading the futures with XRP. It's pretty apparent. Look at all that. Much more liquidity to the top side. See, this makes it seem like we got to go up. This seems like we got to go up eventually here. All crypto going down. I think it is manipulated. It is manipulated. 100% it's manipulated. Hey, thank you, Nate. I appreciate it. I just try to bring out all the information I can. And then with Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin's got equal liquidations below and above. 100, you got some down here, for sure. Got some up here, too. You got a lot of liquidation in both directions, so we'll see. We'll see with Bitcoin. I got a different map for Bitcoin. I just want to put this back to XRP for future reference. Place your sell orders up there to drive the price up and can't. Yep. I mean, you could. That's what they usually do on the block books. But we have a nice V shape there, so we'll see if we can get some continuation up. We'll go back to the reading in a minute, because I do want to finish before I'm done with this live. I do want to read about the whales. And we've been on for 32 minutes already. Wow, that's incredible. Whew. That's what we do here. We're going to keep an eye on everything just in case. Either way. It would be, like I said, for XLM, it'd be very disappointing if that breaks down and doesn't play out. It really would. If that doesn't play out, that would probably be the most disappointed I've ever been in XLM. Just like with Algo. And the price, I mean, we're getting back. Look at that. Algo at 36 cents now. That's becoming a major inverted hammer candle. Or, I mean, inverted hammer right there. It's super bullish, too. If they bring up, and then they basically work back down the candle, but they stay in a bullish positioning, that's actually really bullish because you're closing all the gaps on the initial push up. So, I don't know. But Algo is certainly past due, down 6.5%. That is insane. Look at IOTA today. Ooh, I might have to buy some. Down to 27.8 cents. Whew. You might not be wrong, B. You might not be wrong about that. What are we thinking of the next XRP move targeted at $8? No. You can't even do that. That's not fair. How can we target it at $8 if the next actual target's not even close to $8? Who's talking about $8? The only thing you all should be worrying about with me is if we make the next move up, forget $8. That's not even on the... $8 might as well be in another stratosphere right now. I'm just being honest. Right now, all we should be worrying about is that $5.39. Our next move, if this were to break out, if this breaks out of this pattern at any point, you're looking at a first tier push up to about $3.70. And then if it ends up pushing out in totality out of this short-term formation, it would end up being about $4.43. But in totality, you could theoretically see $6.79. But you could in reality, I'm looking at $5.49 or $5.40 area if this plays out true. But I'm telling you right now, we have signs that we could start a hangman candle or a hangman pattern. And we've seen this before. This isn't the first time. So, but that the inverted hammer camel toe. Hey, that one works. It definitely works. But no, we definitely have an inverted hammer right now, followed by a hammer yesterday. But these are typically, if you understand technical analysis, these are usually very bullish setups back to back. But it's to me, it just seems like it. As much as they want to tell us it's going down, it just doesn't seem like it needs to do that. It seems like it could, but I don't know, man. I mean, technically, if you guys are in the celestial cycle, shouldn't we have our big explosion by the end of March? And by the end of March is when it should start to reverse for, at least the midway point of the year. Remember, typically crypto is not very bullish in the summertime. Typically, it's an end of the year, beginning of the year fad, and then people start fading it in the spring and summer. Like once springtime comes, it's nice, but once you get into the summertime is when it starts to get faded between that spring and summer cycle. It's weird. It happens every year for some reason, unless you're in a super cycle, which we don't know. To me, the fact that XRP is holding up at $3.05 is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting where we're at. But yeah, that's when things are running weird. It almost feels like the cycle's behind a little bit right now. Because I'm telling you, when you have a 5-wave move with the Elliot wave and we've only done 4, you got to finish this one way or the other. No, yeah, every chart does look the same. You're right. But look you've got some charts that are telling us what's going to come for some of the rest of the utility sector. Look at XRP. That, if you know nothing else about technical analysis, that pole is breaking out, and you're going to have to measure the length of that pole for the finality of the actual first tier push. And then it can decide. But then you look at others like XLM, that pole hasn't even begun to break out. And the fact it's creating like an inverted hammer right there as well in that all-time chart on this candle this is starting to become unbelievable that this is happening. So when I'm looking right now, what is today? Oh, today's Testicular Tuesday. Oh, what a perfect day. Where's my phone? I got it. For the second straight week, this is Testicular Tuesday. So if you want to buy with me, we're only doing it on one day right now. We don't have FOMO Fridays. We don't have Winning Wednesdays. We don't have Motivated Mondays. And this time of the market, we have Testicular Tuesdays. So do you have the fortitude? And right now, I think I already know what I'm going to target. Algo is down 6.5% today. 6% at 36.33 cents. Let me take a look real quick. I have 30,000 algo. And I'm going to go buy on Testicular Tuesdays. And it doesn't have to be an extreme amount. Remember last year we were only doing $50 a week. So, and mind you, this could go much farther. So we could buy more on Testicular Tuesdays. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just buy another 1,000 algo. I'm going to buy 1,000 algo. And right now it's at $3. Where's it at right now? $36.3 cents. This will run you about $363. I'm all good. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm going to buy 1,000 algo. Yeah, I'm not looking to get rid of any of this stuff, especially algo and some of these other ones. So there, I bought algo. I have 31,100 algo now. So there. I'm happy about that. So on Testicular Tuesdays, I definitely showed some fortitude here this Tuesday. And just simply can't pass up on that. Down another 6%. Looks like a massive flag is forming. Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. And not just that, this inverted right arm is actually tapping perfectly now. This is absolutely perfect now where it hit. We've actually made this inverted right arm now, what's forming, like to an extreme now. And we'll see if it plays out. If it doesn't, hey, it was fun. I'll just keep buying more because what I'm looking at now is if, let's just say algo falls out and I start selling off some of my other parts of my portfolio, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up siphoning it into XDC or XLM and algo if both of them fall off. Just because if these fall off from here, something much bigger is getting ready. Something much bigger is getting ready. I know I actually should stake algo. I actually looked into it yesterday, to be honest with you. With all the hype talk of adoption maybe being close, can they be planning one last huge? They could be. That's why I'm going to take it in stride. Like, algo's down 6% right now. So I don't find it, yeah, it's above my average, but at this point, whatever. The average to me doesn't really mean as much on certain ones just because of how far behind they are in the cycle. I've been asked that question a lot. Me personally, if I could only do XLM or algo and don't shoot the messenger, the only reason, and I mean, you got to argue with yourself because XLM, you could argue that pulls bigger than algo. The only reason I would have a tough time buying XLM over algo is the fact that algo, and it's not so distant past, has already proven to me that it can get up over $3 easy. Easy. Adjust your soundboard. You are echoing. I have no soundboard. If it's echoing, I apologize. That's just my tablet, or I'm talking too loud. Is swapping 500 XRP for algo reasonable if I have 10,500? Oh, for me personally, you don't have any algo, and you want to transfer, that's very reasonable. If for any other reason, the fact that it hasn't even started breaking out of the poll, I don't see anything wrong with that. Especially if you're going to stay over your 10,000 XRP. Like, for me, I think 10,000 is essential. Oh, cool. Hey, Darren White, welcome in. Darren's been here for a long time. I'm going to have to give you the tour of my studio. Yes, you are. Hey, I'm just a simple man, anti-communist. I one day started on my phone doing technicals off my phone. And then because the audience got a little bigger than I expected so quickly, I bought the first tablet circa 2021. And then I bought this one in 2024 at the very end of the year. Haven't bought since 50 cents, Dylan. Well, I mean, at this point, just, you wanna look at just hanging on here for a minute. Buying it now at $3.06, it's a tough sell. I can see other things that I'd rather buy at these levels. The bearish scenario would be XRP falls outside of the support structure at $2.65 or $2.58 if you go lower. And then it falls out, and then all of a sudden you start looking at that 209 drop. And then if that doesn't hold, you've got basically the monthly FVG at $1.82. And like, you do not want to start going in that direction. You start going in that direction, you start forming a head formation, like a shoulder and a head. That's not what you want to do. FYI, you do not want to do that. Thank you so much, Shaky Leg, for the $10 donation. What's the minimum and max you see XTC hitting this cycle? Ooh. Some have talked about the wick on XDC. I didn't see it on the particular exchanges, but that looks like a massive inverted hammer on XDC as well. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is still bullish, but guys, a big inverted hammer on the breakout part of the pattern, that's interesting. Big time. Big time. So if this holds, and we already came up to that first level, so if this actually plays through, I'm looking for that cup to finish forming at about 19 cents. So I think it's going to go up about 90% from here. 85% from here. Because I think it needs to go to Tom echoing big time. Listen to playback.
Other people say you're not, so I don't know if that's...
I don't know. Sometimes you got to restart it.
Some people are saying you are, some people say you're
Some people say I am. Some people say I'm not. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it if I'm echoing. Now you could be hearing the people behind me. Now you could be hearing the people behind. See, it was coming through fine, but I've got others in the house talking. You have echoing now. I would restart your stream, honestly. But I'm not, guys. No, anti-communist is not trolling. He's been in here a long time, and I don't think he'd just be trolling the troll. He actually brings a lot of good stuff here. Oh, you're recording. Interesting. Somebody said about H-bar 2 being down 4.5%. And H-bar is backtesting the breakout. It really, really is. Like, I don't even think this has finished the true cup yet. Because if we finish this true cup, you'd be all the way up at 47.5 cents. We didn't get up there. Oh, you guys are leaving, aren't you? Bye, Scarlett. Bye, Michaela. I'll see you guys Thursday. Okay.
And then for the weekend.
Ooh, yeah, it's our weekend, isn't it? Love, I'll see you later. Ooh. Do you hear that? I got a love for more than just Scarlett this time. I got it from Michaela, too. Hey, when you get the love from the 17-year-old, you're like, hey, that's different. It's true. Anyhow, I mean, a lot of these are just backtesting the breakout. I mean, it really does seem like something's going on here. It really does. I can't help it. Oh, awesome, anti-communist. Stop. That's what I like to see. ZBCN, I can't say that I have. I can't say that I have. But all of these don't look bearish. And, like, if we're looking for evidence of further market, now, I'm sure, yes, on H-bar, sure, we could say that this forms like a reversal candle here. But we're on, but there's only 2 minutes left in today's candle, but this is the overall pattern. So these could be monthly candles as well, because it looks like that's probably what's going on. No. Yeah, it does. No, Adam, this certainly does not. Adam, I love seeing you in here, too. I meant to say hi to you the last couple times. The sound guy had me echoing, driving me crazy while he was laughing his ass off and played a joke on me. Oh, well, that's what I like to hear. Because at least I know it's not on my end. Kudos to the sound guy. My sound guy is, well, it's my ghost friend here. See him? Let's give him a round of applause. That's my sound guy. So, you bought DGB 238,000. Ooh, that's one from my heart. I would buy more DGB if I didn't already have as much as I have. Now, I can say that I'm a little bit interested to see this daily candle on DGB because that could almost be distinguished as the reversal candle. And like I said, with DGB, it's another one that just feels like it doesn't feel like we've ended. It just feels like we're in the midst of a never-ending consolidation. Yeah, the Chinese New Year is tomorrow, so the year of the snake. So put that in perspective for me. If it's the year of the snake, does that mean, is that good or bad? The year of the snake? Because I could see this as a couple different ways I could go with this. Bolzak, nice to see you as well. Love seeing some of the older ones in here as well. Trump read a poem called The Snake at a rally the other day. A snake is a snake. I prefer the year of the ladders. Yes. I prefer the year of the drag, or the year of the ladders as well. Aloha, Bear. Thank you for being in Tom's Arm for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Beautiful. And the Cannabis Podcast says, thank you for that. I've just read that comment too. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. That is my face superimposed on there. I kid you not. By the way, this has nothing to do with my show, but no more cashews. You know why? I always study different things, and the cashews, as much as I like them, they cause bloating. Couldn't figure it out the last 3 days, or 4 or 5 days. I'm like, what? Nothing's really changed. I do love seeing some Bolzak. Yeah, I know. I know you're saying the Balzac, right? We get that. Oh, FYI, for the record, I would sell all of my Ethereum if I owned it for algo. I'm not just saying that because I like algo. I'm just saying it because I love algo. So, you know, if you can read between the lines. But I want to commend Dylan. Thank you for selling half your Ethereum to algo. You know why? Because in my opinion, algo is everything Ethereum wishes it could be and 10 times more than ADA is. So, like a lot of people like Cardano. My simple thing is if you like Cardano, you wouldn't buy Ethereum. But if you like Cardano, you should really like you some Algorand. Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, not for me, it wouldn't be, but for some, it would be for XCN. Because XCN's had a beautiful breakout. No, I mean beautiful. When you start looking at the setup, it actually has done it pretty unilaterally like it should. So we had the initial consolidation it broke out of, which is nice because there was a lot of forewarning that this could happen. And then it hit the initial target, bounced off of it, and then it just kept going. Formed that nice, almost like a pennant formation, broke out of it. And now we're starting to gap. See, now we're hunting gaps. So when it came down here, it very nearly filled this gap. And I talked about it the other day. Actually, it did when it made this initial drop, I believe. But then it made the rally out. And then it came through. So one could argue it filled the short gap. But if you look at this pattern from the beginning, does anybody see the glaring problem? And we talked about it in the beginning of this. If it wanted to come back down and fill some levels. The obvious is, one, it never, ever backtested the initial breakout, which means you have a gap. I mean, it did do a pretty good job. It came up, came down. It never came to the actual breakout right here. But who knows if you would call that a considerable gap area. It's hard. But I mean, if I was doing a, well, let's look at this for the obvious. Well, there is a gap. It looks like at 003. Will that fill? Who the hell knows? But you certainly don't want that to fill. But JP Morgan's known to be a pumper and a dumper of the market. So if this really does have the backing of JP Morgan, could this be a shoulder, head, shoulder? It could. You really just want to make sure this holds the 1775 level. You're much appreciated, Tom. Thank you for what you do. Thank Julian. Thank your audience for tuning in. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much on your 10th YouTube Super Chat and a $4.99 donation or $5 donation. Thank you, Shaky Leg. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for your second month as well. I really appreciate that. This audience is awesome. So you think algo then, Tom, is what I gathered. As far as between what, XLM and algo, it's tough because XLM has that massive flag. I mean, the massive pull. But just where we've been and where I think we can go, algo has more topside potential, I think, than XLM from where we're at right now. If you would have asked me this any other time, if at any point in history, if I said, hey, if one of you asked me in 2021, hey, Tom, let's put a scenario in 2025 where XLM is at 30, where are we at exactly right now? Where XLM is at 39 cents and algo's at 36, I'd say, first of all, you're out of your freaking mind that algo's only at 36 cents in 2025, especially if XLM's at 39. Second, I couldn't buy algo quick enough in that scenario over XLM, even though I love XLM and think it's a better deal than XRP at this point. Does that make any sense? Yep, 84% have already been issued. Algo does not have nearly the circulating supply as XRP either. That's another good thing. The max supply. I love VELO. I love me some VELO. I think VELO's got big thing. Yeah, 8.4 billion out of 10 billion for algo has been put into circulation. And then if we go to XLM, we've got, what is that, 30 billion we need to have? I mean, 50 billion total, and we've got about 30.5 billion. So maybe 55, 60%. But you've got 50 billion as the max supply. With algo, there's only 10 billion. You know, with some of these we're talking about, you know what other one's a good buy right now? A fantastic buy if this plays out? IOTA. IOTA's got, the maximum supply is 2.779 billion. And this is a mainframe token of the IR or the IoT, and it's an ISO token. One of the few that can make that claim. 3.612 billion are issued right now. Wait a minute. What? Oh, 2.779 supply by Odom. It's capped at 2.77. What the hell? That doesn't even make any sense, what it just said. Those 3.6 billion. So I know that's not right at 2.7. It's more than that because I do this all the time. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's a bit of misinformation if I ever seen it. $4.6 billion. Thank you. I don't know what this is. 2.779. Anyhow, sometimes you gotta, read past the first thing you read and at least know what you're talking about, because otherwise you get taken through the. Anyhow, the crypto fear and greed index is at 53. It seems like we're conducive. You're already in a watch out moment, yeah. But if it gets below that 2.7 area, you definitely have a chance of coming back down to that 1.85 support. But as long as it stays above that uptrend, it's okay. You don't. You don't. That's the problem with the hanging man. Because technically, you don't know until you do, but right now you could say that it is starting to form something. Like I went back in the pattern just to show like how it looked in 21, how it looked like a big pole. Then all of a sudden on that back half, it created the hangman or the hanging man pattern. You can call it hanging man, it doesn't matter. But it does, it forms. Well, I like the hangman just because then it'll show you the lead in. But yeah, you can go by one solitary candle as well. But you really don't. You really don't know if it's bearish or bullish. But right now, if it's bearish, you stay below on this last push up. If it's bullish, you'll break to a new high. That's why it's so important to break over this level. That's why I keep saying this is so important. But right now, couldn't we argue that it formed a hammer candle instead of it being like... Because look, right here we formed what you could say is a hanging man, right? And this is where we're getting the idea that that could have been what it was, right? And we're gonna go through this together. So this daily candle right here... John, welcome in. Better late than never, even though it's almost my time to leave. But this right here, some are starting to say, is this the start of a hangman? Is this what's giving us the key right here? It's right here. Everybody's looking at this saying, is this the start of it? And there's for good reason, because you would pull up and it would be red. But the next candle should have pulled down on us, right? You see the next red candle below? You should have had some kind of indication of it coming down. Well, the fact that if you're trying to form something more bullish, you would create an inverted hammer candle on the back end of this. So the only way to get out of this in a bullish scenario would be to try to put in that inverted hammer. And we did that yesterday. That's the hope here, is we actually have an inverted hammer candle following that, what some could have quoted as the start of the hanging or the hangman candlestick pattern, which is why I brought it up, because you'll see more talk about it. You'll start to see more talk about it for sure. I'm just not convinced that's what it is. What's up with your one coin with small supply? Oh, XRP Healthcare. XRP Healthcare is up 8.2% on the day. It's sitting at 15.6 cents. This is another one that has a massive flagpole. It had a bearish inverted hammer last week, as it turned out, even though it's still, I think it's still bullish, but it turned more in the bearish zone. This one on the most recent candle in this month, it's got a bullish inverted hammer, it looks like. That's a massive pattern that's setting up. If it breaks down, that would be a little devastating. But this pattern's still playing through as we speak. This floor support's held up. If it pushes up, the next big push is going to be around 30 cents. So, The stock market liquidity thing I got in. Oh, the AI token. Well, nobody's asked me about that in a long time. You're talking about the AI token. Oh, that'll be on a day. We'll go over that in a different day. We'll go over that on a different day because I got to get going here. It's already been over an hour, and I told you I'd come in there around 7 to help. But yeah, we'll look at that more. We'll look at that more. That's at 7. It's up and downs. There's no doubt about that. Wow, I can't believe somebody brought that up. I love it. Yeah, it was a little more expensive. It was up near, when I first started talking about $18, and then it moved up to about 25, 26 while we were discussing it. That's kind of one that I don't even pay attention to. That just sits there. And that's one that I am fully comfortable if it just goes all the way to 0 with what I have. Even though I would like to see it play out, but I was fascinated by the algorithm part of it. But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta help Julie. I promised I would. I'm glad we were able to do this. I had a very rocky start to try to start this because it wouldn't let me do it. They went to meme. A lot of it went to memes. But remember, when the money finds its way to memes, like with the Trump token, I told 80% of that token, Trump and the family owned. So all that money that was going in, that eventually gets sold out to special interests and things like that. Joseph, thank you for the $10 donation. Aloha to you, my friend. So do your homework on SHIB and XCN for tomorrow's meeting. Ooh, I love Shiba. That's one that I wish I would have bought more. I've only got what we used to buy on FOMO Fridays and Winning Wednesdays in 2023. I wish I would have bought more. I said it then. I'm going to regret only buying what I did, and I regret it. Because at the time, it only ended up being about $400 or $500 worth. And yeah, it's X'd a few times. But I really should have dropped like $2,500 then. I only like Shiba because from a smaller perspective, it's got a form of utility that it's hard to describe. I'll have to take more time to describe it. But I definitely think it's got a purpose. I don't think it's just a meme token like a lot of people talk. I think there's actually some deeper... I don't think it's a token that'll ever see even close to $1. But I do think it's a token that's going to see some substantial upside in the future. I used to talk about Shiba long ago. I used to actually have a side station dedicated to it, if you want to be honest. It was between Doge and Shiba. And that station got partnered, but it was taking away too much of my focus on here. So I stopped doing that second station. But anyhow, I'll do my homework. Have a blessed evening, everybody, and we'll get back to this later. Julie's out here now, so I got to go take